Hello everybody, and welcome to a tutorial on blending. Now this one's a little bit more advanced than the last tutorial. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to sketch a rectangle. I'm going to make sure it's 80 millimeters wide and pull it up into a solid. Now I want to create blend lines or blend guidelines to help make my blend. So I'll start off and put some planes in and start bisecting this rectangle up because I want to have something to sketch on. So I'll copy over 120, copy over 240, and then put a plane in the back. So now to blend, I need to blend between two faces. So I'm going to select all of these middle faces and delete them from the screen, leaving me one surface on either end. So now I can make my blend guidelines. And I'll select on the back, and I'll draw a straight line across. So now I can go and select our next plane, and maybe this time I'll make an arc. Notice you have to select on each face, and it has to be a continuous line from one end to the other. That's what controls the blend. So notice on the third one I can make a spline, click on one face, make my spline however I want, and click on our last face. Now a spline works because it's one continuous line, but you couldn't, let's say, do an arc and then a line because that wouldn't be continuous. So we'll do one more arc, and on our last corner we won't even put a straight line. So we can see how our guidelines will look, and now let's do the blend. So remember, if I just pick on both surfaces and blend them, I get a rectangle. But now if I Alt-click on our lines, I'll Alt-click the first one, and then Alt-Control-click the rest of them to select multiple references for the lines, and then do my full pull, notice I get a nice blended surfaces all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these planes now because I'm not going to need them anymore, and delete our lines as well. So notice how I have that nice contour on top and how it dips down and follows those blend lines. So now there's also another way we could create blended surfaces, and maybe that's if we import a blended surface in to begin with. So let's say we have a solid block to start off with that I've just created, and I'll just copy and paste the surface back in, just with a Control-C, Control-V, and now I can bring it in as if I imported it, and I'll combine that surface with the solid, just by picking the solid and the surface, and now I've split that up and I have a nice contour on top of that. So now I'll show one more example of using these blend lines to create a solid, and this time maybe we'll create a simple handle. So I'll make a cylinder, and now I'll use our guidelines, and I'll draw a straight line in the back, because I want to keep the back of our cylinder pretty much as cylindrical as possible, while I want my front to be a little bit more splined, and have indentations for your fingers. So I'll make a quick little spline in the front, and now I'll go into 3D. Remember, I have to delete that middle surface, so I have two surfaces to blend between, and I'll Control-pick my surfaces, Alt-Control-click my lines, and do a full pull between them, giving me a nice contoured handle. So I hope that's shown you a little bit more on how we can create more complex surfaces in SpaceClaim, and I hope you can use them in your modeling. Thank you for watching.